Good morning and welcome to our webinar. It's a spring tune-up series and it's a digital workshop, and today's session one, what makes a nice looking website? Today is May 9th, 2024. Thank you for joining us. Now, this is a three-part series, so I just want to remind you that if you haven't done so, please sign up for sessions 2 and 3. And I'll remind you at the end as well, but it's important to make sure that you're at all three. So without further ado, as normal, we really encourage you to post any questions in the Q&A. It really helps to move the conversation forward and get to some of the deeper issues and questions. Any links that we may share after the fact, we'll share it via email, so you don't have to check it out during the webinar. We want to make sure you're able to focus. And if you find there's value in this, or you want to go back and watch it again, it'll be available for recording and posted within 24 hours if you'd like to share it with anybody in industry. And there's also an option at the taskbar at the bottom to turn on closed captioning. My name, again, sorry, I didn't introduce myself at the start. I'm Nick Fry with Tourism Nova Scotia, Manager of Business Development. And Tourism Nova Scotia works with communities and industry to attract visitors to the province, increase tourism revenues, working with experience and sector development, with coaching, marketing, and visitor servicing. So really excited to have you here today. And I'm hoping you joined us here through Digiport. And if not, please go check Digiport out as soon as we're done today. Digiport is offered in partnership with Digital Nova Scotia. It's a one-of-a-kind resource that's offered nowhere else in Canada to tourism businesses. It offers you professional advice, resources, access to professionals and programs that you can't get anywhere else. It's one-on-one, and if you haven't done so, please go check out Digiport today. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome our presenter today. That's going to be Maria McGowan. She actually joined us in the early days of our webinar series in 2021. And really excited for her to come back and provide some updates on this spring tune-up session. So Maria is with Sociable Media, and she has years of experience developing comprehensive strategies targeting the right audience and driving business growth. And Maria's expertise is beyond just tourism. She works with recreation, economic development, and she's helped numerous clients achieve their goals through effective online presence and brand. And Maria is a lifelong learner, which helps when she's working with businesses. She always has some really great cutting edge best practices. So those are wonderful. And you may or may not know, but she's now hosting a podcast that explores renewable energy and has a net zero called Reimagined Energy. So really excited to have Maria share her knowledge today. I'd like to welcome Maria to the screen. And again, please ask any questions throughout. And again, whenever you're ready, Maria.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for the introduction. I'm just going to do all the things that I need to do here. I'm going to share my screen. Welcome, everybody. I'm excited to see you all. I'm just going to get set up here and share. Here I am. Okay. So, Nick, tell me, everything looks good on your end? You can see my screen? Just want to make sure.
Everything looks wonderful. Those flowers are popping off the screen.
Aren't they great? They're nice on this rainy day.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
welcome, everybody. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to be talking to you over the next few minutes about effective website design. Like, what makes a nice website? We all have them. It's 2024, and websites are necessary in this environment that we all live in. So a little bit about me. Of course, I'm Maria McGowan. I'm with Sociable Media, as Nick said in his introduction. I'm located here in Halifax. I have a lot of experience in tourism with Digiport and Digital Nova Scotia and Tourism Nova Scotia. I've worked a lot with clients in the tourism industry in Nova Scotia and helping them elevate their social media, digital marketing, website, and so on, and branding. I also, like Nick said, I have a podcast, which I'm having a lot of fun with. It's a passion project of mine because I'm curious about energy and where it comes from and how it works. But let's go in and what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be looking at the importance of a good design. We're going to be looking at the key components and to add, designing for your audience. That's the big factor right there. Visual hierarchy and layout, what makes it look good, the elements that you should and need to have. And also, let's not forget mobile first design, which is becoming to the forefront these days. And then last but not least is website accessibility. You have to design your website for all people. So let's dive right on in. Before we get going, this is also an interactive session, and I want you guys to use the chat because I'm going to be once in a while asking a question just to make sure you're following along or just learn as you go and put your answers in the chat. So for example, here's our first one. This is about the importance of good design. So poor design and content drive what percent of web visitors away? So with poor design, is it 84% of people go away, 38% or 62? And maybe I'll wait, for a few seconds, maybe about 30 seconds or so. I can't see the comments, but it's okay. I have the answer, but guess, which one is it?
We
What
got 84 is the popular one so far, 162, and most 84 are 62.
are they? Okay. Well, it's 38, which is interesting. So I throw that in there. But it's still, you really want to make sure you focus on the design. You would think it would be 84 and 62, but I want to throw a curve in there. So let's dive into the importance of good design. User experience. So you want to make it as easy as possible for people to work through your website. You want to, because you want to give them the information in a concise, easy way so they can go in, find their answers, and then leave. But it can increase, higher engagement and conversion rates. So why it matters, it's good for SEO. It's good for mobile responsiveness. It's a faster loading time. Ever go to a website and it takes you a few seconds to load an image or there's a pause. Sadly, people don't have a lot of patience for that these days. So you really want to make sure you're using really good low resolution images on your website. And I'll get into that later, what that all means. But it can also add more organic, but also it's good for your branding. It's good for your overall look for your business, to make sure you have a strong visual, you're building that trust and so on. Another reason why, good design is great is for accessibilities, including those with vision problems and so on, because it is a very visual when you're on, and you want to also probably want to do it for audio as well if you could. It gives you a competitive advantage. If your competitor looks better than you, just not cool. You really want to step it up a little bit and get in there and always ask for help. Digiport is amazing that way. Key components, things to do. So when you're looking for ideas for content on a website, it's really good to give people ideas of what they can do in your area. You want to add some booking links to your website. You want to look at some testimonials as well, because those are gold in these days. Images are important, the type of images that you use and the quality of them, and FAQs. So these 5 things here are really great to have on your website. It encourages engagement. It makes people stick around a little longer and learn a little bit about you. But let's dive right on in. When I mention the things to do, some of the things you can mention is how people can get the most. Um, and it's really changing it on not so much about you, but it's about them. Also, community things, what's happening in your area, farmers, sites of interest. If people have children, what are things that maybe families can do together? So also, working with that as well as looking at partner things. So shout out to other partners, to tourism businesses, maybe it's some events and attractions that are happening. So make sure you give people an idea of things they can do to get the most out of their visit or stay, or when they're in the area, things to do. Booking links are really important. People kind of they look for these. If you're a hotel or any type of attraction, you need to have a booking link, and people really want to be able to reserve right then and then. So you can add widgets. It's really easy. A lot of websites like Wix or WordPress, they all have that ability to add widgets, and but make sure they're mobile responsive, but also put a link, to sales channels as well, like Expedia, Booking.com. Expand your reach. These all help get yourself out there and to the places where they are looking. Testimonials, I mean, they're golden. Don't be shy. I mean, if not everybody will give a negative response. I know it's a real stick your neck out there type of thing because you're scared of what the response is going to be. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a positive response. If you ask for it, people will be more than happy, to share. Because that's what people listen to, what other people have to say, and they go more with what other people say. So reach out to previous guests, ask for a review, make it easy for them. Always think when they put a Google review up or a Facebook review, always acknowledge it. Good, bad, or ugly, just acknowledge it. Where to ask? Well, you can have a section on your website. You can put it on your sales receipts. If your sales receipts can print even a QR code, that's even awesome. Signage, social media, what have you. But it make it easy for them to leave a review and always be asking. Images. Make sure you pick great quality and try not to have any blurry photos. Have a no blur zone. Make sure the resolution is strong, it's sharp. Tell a story with your images. Are they playing the guitar? Are they sitting around a campfire? Are they smiling? Are they cheersing? What have you. Make sure that it's telling a story instead of an empty banquet room with chairs and tables. Have people actually sitting at them and actually engaging and using your product. One thing I've noticed through the years is people, they love people and pets. I've noticed this trend on social media. People like to see other people and they like to see animals. So if you can incorporate people or pets into your photos on your website, that would be awesome. Another thing about images is the Tourism Nova Scotia Digital Asset Library. It's full of really great content that's already been curated for you, high resolution. I believe it's copyright free, but you can go ahead, you can register ahead of time, and it gives you all kinds of interesting images, and it's all categorized and it's neatly packaged up for you. So make sure you take advantage of that. It's free. FAQs are also really great to add to your website because because some people just want to skim and have the questions asked right away, and it saves you time and it saves them time because you don't want to be answering the same question over and over and over again. It also demonstrates that you're listening as well, and you want to make sure that they're having a really nice visit with you and stay. And then also it sets expectations, because people want to see them on the websites these days. It's one of the things that I first go to when I'm curious about going somewhere or visiting something. I want to check out the FAQs, and 9 times out of 10, the question's already been asked and answered, which is wonderful. So here we go back to another poll and survey question about the topic of good design. So what percentage of customers favor images over other visual elements on a website? Is it 25, 35, or 40? Because images are important, but how important are images? And other visual elements would be video, it could be content blocks, it could be infographics. So if you want to give your answer.
I got 340s, 135, a 25,
All right,
40.
40, another 40. Okay,
My
well,
personal guess is 40. Oh, look, I already knew
there
the
you go. There you go. You guys are right. So the type of image matters, and it has to be original images. Try to stay away from stock images. Original images get the highest type of engagement, believe it or not. So people want to see authenticity. They want to see really great images that are strong, but also real and not staged. And websites with images and videos see up to 80% increase. So make sure you use and choose your images wisely. Designing for your audience. Okay, well, this is all around user-centered design. Because when you're thinking about your organization, whether you're a hotel or you're a visitor or an attraction, it's got to you want to solve a problem for them. But what's in it? Well, it's not about you. It is about you, but it's not about you. And what I mean by that is it you really want to make sure that you're solving their problem. You want to make sure that you are relatable to them and you understand their pain and how you're going to answer their, answer to their needs. So it shifts the focus as well. So put it back to prioritizing them and framing all the content around their feelings and needs and goals. So for example, instead of we have the best blank, 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 it's like, are you looking for fun activity for the kids this summer? Or are you planning to be, in the Pictou area next week and you're looking for a rainy day activity? Change the words around so it's if you have, are you? And that will be really great because people can identify and you're talking to them like you talking to them like a friend. So user design steps. To design for users, you need to design with the users. And we're going to start off with some homework. You got to do your research, who they are. You probably have a really good idea about who your visitors are and why they will want to come visit you or the type of ideal visitor that you want to attract. So you got to do some homework. Ask some questions on social media. You can do some quick surveys, do a little bit of background research. You also want to align that. You want to align yourself with how this will benefit the users and you alike. You have to work together because you got into business for a reason, and make sure that you're answering to their questions and to their needs, but your needs are also met too. And then you just go through you build, make it easy for them. You want to make it easy for people to engage with your business. And the key word here is engage. And then you want to test it, of course. You want to make sure that everything is working well. That all goes with the feedback. It all goes with the testimonials. It also goes with the reviews that people leave. You want to test it out, and you're constantly in this stage. And then you want to iterate. Ask, to how they met, your business requirements. Ask yourself this, are there any ways that you can perhaps tweak? Maybe, and that comes with the reviews and the testimonials. You're always on top of things. And that goes with just being a business in general. You always are looking at your competitors, you're looking over your shoulder, but you also want to service the needs of your clients. So that's pretty much, they all go hand in hand. If you look at back and forth here, this is how it works. I mean, the research and the alignment and the build, the test, the iterate, you're always going through and checking on things. And it's never, I guess a website is a living, breathing document. If you look at it this way, it's not set it and forget it at all. So let's talk quickly about chatbots. This was a presentation that was held previously through Digiport in Tourism Nova Scotia. And if you ever wanted to access this slide deck, you can click on or take a picture of the QR code here, because it's a really great session that was put on by Melissa. And she walked everybody through about the benefits and how to really set them up properly. But I'm going to quickly today go over the chatbots feature because they're really handy to have and they save a lot of time for everybody. So we use it every day and we don't even use it half the time. Like we don't even know we're using it half the time. That's what I meant to say. But the advantages are, and it's pretty clear, it's instant, it's 24/7. You can increase your revenue. It gives you powerful insights. And there's a lot of great ways that you can use them. You can use them in your website to help them, with booking, with a reservation, with things to do. But the thing is, you need to look at what type of chat bot is best for you, whether it's booking or answering questions or giving feedback or giving a review. Give your chatbot a personality. It has to be written by you. It needs to probably be casual language. It can't be formal. Make sure you're using emojis that are on brand. Has a friendly avatar image. Give a creative name for your bot, perhaps. Maybe use a little bit of humor or a little bit of lightness. Have fun with it. But the most important thing here is you need to create the conversation flow. So you need to create rules and populate it with information when you're answering the questions that people are probably going to be having. So um, and organize it in a way that works for you and the visitor. They're not hard. They're not complicated. You can't break anything, so try it out. Next, we're going to talk about visual hierarchy and layout. It's about arranging elements on a page. That's what visual hierarchy is. Some things are more important or should be featured more than others, just to show their importance. For example, we're going to dive right on in. So here's what it can look like. Size and scale. You can place more emphasis here on the apple than on the orange slice. So you can probably, if you had something that you really wanted to talk about that was really important, make that larger. Also, color and contrast. You can play around with making something important just by making the middle image here in the cell phone, just make it appear more prominent by having it be a different color. The other thing is the typographic hierarchy, and this is where we're getting into the nitty-gritty of website design. The fonts have of different sizes. You have a title, and then you have a subtitle, and then it gets lower after that. So that's the hierarchy. And, we also want to get into alignment as well. You want to make sure things are equal and balanced. If things are off kilter, that can kind of throw off people's psyche in some way, and that people are looking for order. And if something is out of order and out of alignment, it can just kind of throw people off a little bit. The rule of odds. It's interesting. Threes or fives look really well, which is interesting. When you're looking at a website, you see 3 columns or 3 boxes or 5. There's a reason for that. I would imagine there's been a lot of psychological analysis that happened to come up with those numbers, but that's what I use with my clients. I always use columns of 3 or boxes of 3 or icons of 3. Repetition is really good. Repeating headers and colors. And what I mean by headers is the look and the style. I don't mean by the words. I mean by the type of font that is used and the size of font that is used. It's consistent throughout. And also the colors. That all comes down to branding because you're creating a pattern. And as you see here, I put 3 blocks under the subtitles. That's my 3 thing. Also, if you look at this image here, that's a website that has the visual layout. You have your larger header image at the top, you have your blocks along the bottom, you have your bullets underneath. You can tell there's a layout, a pattern between the desktop and then the tablet and then the mobile. So symmetry and design. This is where the psychology comes into it. It brings a sense of order, harmony. We're all looking for that. And it makes the people navigate a little better, creates a natural flow for the eye. We naturally recognize, we appreciate patterns, and people are more likely to trust and engage. So perfect symmetry also promotes stability and consistency. So there's a real underside to the layout of a website. We're looking for patterns. It creates calm. Examples are grids are great to use. Use the same size and shape for all your buttons. Make sure, like I said earlier, use for your fonts, for your titles, make sure they all have the same type of, um, they have the same point, they're all the same size. Distribute elements evenly. Make sure there's a little bit of space. Give your eyes room to breathe. Make sure that things aren't crammed together. There's a little bit of easy easy ways to navigate. White space is okay. The most prominent element on the page can be the focal point. That's where the people start before they start looking at other elements. The eye moves to a larger type of even the font or an image. These can be headlines, they could be call to actions, other clickable things. So plan and organize your content. List all of your available content on a spreadsheet. Map it out ahead of time. Even draw it on a piece of paper. Just kind of think, okay, I'm going to draw some blocks. Here's the most important things that I want people to get out of visiting the website and make those prominent, and then create some inside pages after that. So what would be, I want you guys to all think, what would be the focal point of your website? Would it be them? Would it be you? Would it be the header? Would it be the things to do? Um, just try to think of ways that what would be the focus, and make sure your focal point is also answering the question that people have on their minds. Mobile first design. We all use our phones. We use them every day. In fact, they're starting to beat out desktop and tablet because we're in doctor's offices. We're at Service Nova Scotia. We're waiting in line somewhere. We're checking our phones. We're constantly on our phones. So you want to start your website design with mobile first. It's shifted. This is where we're at. This is a new reality. And so when you have your website, you definitely want to test it out. Make sure how it looks. You know, smaller screens, because slower internet connections are common on mobile devices. So key principles. So prioritize your content again. Focus on the most important. That goes even still when you're sketching it out on a piece of paper. Maybe think of draw the size of a cell phone, and also have a more rectangular shape to it. And how does that look on a cell phone? So focus on the most important at the top, because people are okay scrolling, but you want to make sure you have some sort of order. Make sure the navigation is super simple, because it's touch screens. Another thing is, mobile phones have different screen sizes. And if you have an iPhone versus an Android, the type of phone, if it's Samsung, if it's LG, they all have different displays. So do your best to test it on different mobile phones on their sizes while it's in the testing phase, in the how it displays. Strategically place buttons and links for easy access. Button position really happens, like it matters, because do you want it at the bottom or at the center of the screen? Make some choices there. Optimize your images and your videos for mobile. You may want to reduce the sizes of the images. Don't have a blowout the whole page. Maybe reduce them down, because people are okay when they're on their phones. They're all right. They're okay with scrolling a little bit, but you don't want to scroll through a couple of scrolls of a huge image. That's why you want to test. More key principles. So with images, anything bigger than 20 megabytes in size, it can really impact your speed. It can slow it down. So smaller images up to 2 megabytes in size, but around 500 KB, they're better in most cases. Make sure you're checking your images, and therefore they're web friendly, and they can still be a bit higher resolution, but just a lower bandwidth. They're not eating up so much space, because it will slow it down if you use big, huge images, files, I mean. So give your eyes room to breathe. Try not to cram content, say more with less. Space your photos and text, it's okay. Um, and also give a free check. This is a really great free website where it's called Am I Responsive? And it's really helpful because you can just put in the URL of your website into this one, and it will check and it will it'll display your website on different devices and what it will look on mobile. And it's really handy to look at so you can find out maybe it's not presenting so well on Samsung, but it looks great on iPhones, that type of thing. So mobile first design. Here's a question. So over this percent of visitors prefer mobile websites over desktop. So what would be your answer here? What do we say? So is it 84%, 74%, or 44?
Mostly 74. So far we have
We're
six,
middle of the road?
144. So
Yeah.
5, 74, 44. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. It's 84% actually. So yeah,
That's
it's a big, mobile's huge. I mean, so many people are using mobile these days. And especially when you're traveling, because when you're traveling, you're not traveling with your desktop, you're on your phone. Maybe you're in Sydney and you're heading to Yarmouth, where you're going to be on your cell phone. You're not going to be on your laptop per se, or even your desktop. So when they travel, they're on their phones, as we all know. One thing we're going to be talking about here is website accessibility. And, it's really smart. It's good practice. And it also, you want to make sure that you meet international standards too. Here's another question I'm leading right in with. So according to the WHO, how many people have vision impairment or blindness in the world? Is it 500 million, 750 million, or 1 billion? And just, they've done a study, they've done their homework, they have an idea of how many there are. So 500, 750, or 1 billion. And the survey says 1 billion, which is amazing. So there's quite a few people. This is a big number. And they're visitors to Canada, they're visitors to Nova Scotia. They want to travel. They want to be able to see what we're all about. So what it can look like on a website. How many times, and I see this all the time, but give a brief description of the image. When you're uploading to your website, when you're putting a new image there, how many times do we give it a number? Like where the red X is, it's image 1089. That is so common. You really want to make sure that you have the alt text for woman practicing yoga, like describe the image. It's not only great for SEO, but it's also for visual readers. They will pick up the alt text, and instead of reading out image 1089, it will actually say image and describe what the image is. So it's really great and handy to do that. But if you're using videos on your website too, add transcripts so people can read and listen along. For those who are hearing impaired, make sure you have the image, the text along with videos too. It's also handy if people are in a busy environment or a noisy environment, just to have transcripts. And they're easy to create. I think you can create them for free on YouTube. You can click, but make sure you check your transcripts, because there can be a lot of typos and there can be a lot of grammatical errors as well. So make sure you check over your transcripts, just a handy tip there. So CNIB, they have a wonderful website where they give clear print guidelines to make it that, that makes it easy on the eyes. So you want to make sure you use high contrast colors. Try not to use a lot of light colors and pale colors. And if you do, make sure you almost use the black the black and white type of display. Your point size for web should be minimum 16 to 18 points. That's for all text. I tend to stick around the 16 point minimum for all the body text all throughout the website. Make sure your letters are spaced, have a wide space between them. Font heaviness, use medium heaviness, and try not to use light type, with thin or wispiness. And when emphasizing a word, use a bold or just use a heavy font. Wonderful tips here. And then also with italics, they're really not recommended. It's hard for a lot of people to understand as we're all skimming and buzzing through websites. So text size and color contrast, really helps avoid using flashing or blinking, but also use web fonts that are wonderful to understand. For example, there's the two fonts on the left-hand column are really difficult to understand. The ones on the right are better, but if you see the letter web and the yellow print is having trouble with the white background. So yellow and white background don't really work. The red is better, the black is more clear, is the best. If you're uncertain which type of fonts to use, Arial and Verdana are web-based fonts and they're Google friendly. So make sure you can use, at minimum, at least use those. And that's it. Really, I'm going to be talking next week about content development. I'm really excited about that one. And I'm also excited about the SEO strategies because for the next 2 Thursdays, we have a lot of content coming up. We're going to have a really good time. I'll be asking you again some questions and making it interesting for you. And I want to thank you for your time today. I'm on LinkedIn. Look me up. Ask me some questions. There you go, Nick. I'm going to stick around for the next little bit for some Q&A. And
That's
I can
awesome.
stop sharing. Yeah.
That's great. Don't stop sharing.
Nope, stop sharing.
Yeah. So that's great. Does anybody have any questions? That was a really great presentation. A lot of good info. Reminder, there's 2 more parts to this. So please sign up for those. So any Q&As, I think you really covered things well.
Yeah, I buzz through. I think at the end of the day, it's really looking at what put your visitors first and their needs first and how your service can fit their needs and how best, it can do that.
Yeah. So we have a question from Corey. Thank you. Looking to use Canva as I'm new at websites and it seems easy to use. Do you have any comments on this?
Canva is great for websites. The only thing about it, it doesn't have an SEO component. Like I know if you publish a website through Canva, like I use it for client presentations and so on. I wouldn't use it for a business site per se, because like for that same reason, you can't control the SEO side of it. And I don't think Canva sites are indexed very well with Google and with other search engines. That's my only part, but beautiful design and websites. You can use components, this presentation here today, there were elements of it for icons, for example, I used with Canva. So Canva has a really great place for creating icons or a really great visual, but I wouldn't recommend it for a business website.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So there's no other questions. Don't forget, Maria is also available for the one-on-one session. So I'll take back over the screen now. So
Okay.
just give me 1 sec. No other. Oh, another question came in. Oh, super feedback from Corey. Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. So I'm just going to take back over, and if any other questions come in, we'll forward them to you so you can follow up.
I'd love
Maybe
to.
next week or after the fact.
Yeah.
So bear with me for a sec.
Yeah, I can stop my share as well.
Oh, that's don't do that. That's our perfect. We're back. Wonderful.
Awesome.
All right, thank you, Maria. So we will let you go this time, but we'll see you next week.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all. Bye now.
Thank you so much. I'm back. Wonderful. So it's really great information. If you would like to review that, it'll be posted soon. And if you want to share it with any of your colleagues. So we also have next week, we're going to talk about web content that shines. And then the week after that, we're going to talk about SEO strategies. So you can tell by today's webinar, it's very valuable information. It's easy to digest. It's easy to apply to your business. So hope to see you there. Sign up for those. After that, we have navigating the transition to online booking, and with Micro Hills. And then on June 13th, we have Pocket Production, Short Video Mastery for Tourism Businesses by Will Yang from DeFaro Marketing. So really strong content coming up in the next few weeks, valuable that you can use to help your business. Hope to see you there. We also have some application-based programs still open. So up until May 22nd at 4, we're accepting applications for Radiate. So that's going to help businesses market up to 2 fall or winter tourism packages that will appeal to the maritime market. And you'll receive coaching from TNS, target market insights, help on developing the packaging. You'll be featured on novascotia.com's landing page and included in the seasonal digital marketing campaign. So a lot of value there. And if you have any questions on that, give us a call. And the link is on the screen. You could also just Google Radiate Tourism, and it's on our website. We also have the Export Travel Trade Program. So this would be for businesses that want to develop partnerships with tour operators and travel agents to increase national and international sales for their business. This program offers support through 2 streams: travel trade readiness and market support. So stream 1 is open until June 30th, 2024. And then stream 2 will be open till May 31st. So those dates seem backwards to me, but either way, there's 2 streams, and we'll double check those dates and we'll let you know next week. But either way, you can check out the Export Travel Trade Program on our website. So if you have an idea for a great webinar, if you have any feedback or anything for today, send us an email at tnsbusiness@novascotia.ca. Our corporate website, where everything that we've talked about is posted, is tourismns.ca. Our consumer website, where we push all of our marketing, our call to action is novascotia.com. You can get any relevant news and resources sent to you if you sign up for our news and resources section of our website, tourismns.ca/news-resources. So check that out. We're on X at Tourism NS, and we are on corporate LinkedIn at Tourism Nova Scotia. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you next week.